Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the third installment of Going Places. The car is not moving yet, so we're not actually going anywhere. It's a brisk, but it's sunny, nice day here in Chicago, Illinois today. Have a very special guest, and it's kind of fitting because 3 is a magic number, third time's a charm, and we got some magic here in the car today. The one, the only, pretty much the president, Gear Up. I don't know exactly what, but she's done so much good work in our communities here in Chicago with parents, students, and teachers, and we're going to find out a bit more about that today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together out there in front of your computers. Do it right now for Jenny Coulter-Zuluaga. All right.
Thank you so much.
We're so happy to have her in the car. And we have friends walking by, which is really nice too. We're going to put the car in motion, and we're going to start going places. But Jenny, if you could, again, just share how you started in this work that you do. And again, I don't think I gave the formal introduction, but this is brought to you by the Center for College Access and Success through Northeastern Illinois University. And if you don't know what Gear Up is a college readiness grant. It stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. So you kind of get an idea of all those acronyms and things of what we do. But I've known Jenny for a long time. How did you start in this work? What was your start? I don't remember.
Okay, so I've worked on many different grants at the Center for College Access and Success, but primarily on the Gear Up grant.
Okay.
And currently am an assistant director for the Chicago Gear Up program.
So not president, assistant
not
director.
president, yes.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not a bad title.
Yeah.
But I started in the year 2000.
Okay.
With
in the year 2000.
The year 2000.
Right. Sorry
Coco
about that.
reference
Yeah, sorry about
there.
that. Sorry.
I was recently back from Colombia, South America, and I ran into senior program manager Nelson Choto.
Sure.
Another guy really going places.
That's right.
And I ran into him at a union hall, and he was teaching an ESL class.
Okay.
And I had mentioned that I was an ESL teacher, and he asked me to join the class. I jumped right into his class, and really the next day had an interview.
Wow.
So it was a very, very quick process. Gear Up was just getting started at that point.
Okay.
So we were a small and mighty group, but have now been with Gear Up. This would be 2018 would be the 18th year. So 17 years of joyful service to this group.
Not bad. Now, you started out kind of doing some work with parents.
Yep.
That was the in. Like you started in with parents.
Yep.
Okay.
So I started as the ESL teacher for Westtown Learning Network. So I was working at Anderson Elementary and Peabody Elementary, some blasts from the past there.
Yeah, right.
Teaching ESL to the parent group.
Okay.
And then I moved from that position to be the parent coordinator for Thurgood Marshall and Roseville High School.
Okay.
Teaching those ESL classes actually at the Albany Park Library. We didn't even have the classes at the school at that time. So we met at the library and began to teach ESL, GED, computer classes. So a lot of adult education is really where we started with the parents at that time. Okay. Including workshops and other areas. But we had a very, very small and tight group at that time of adult learners.
Okay. Now, when I was thinking last night, I was trying to think through some questions. I've known Jenny for quite some time. I've worked, directly with her, indirectly with her, with Gear Up as well. I almost texted you for you to send your resume to me just so I could be even more prepared. But I was trying to think about, how would I describe Jenny to someone else? And just in just a few words. And I have to say, I think one of the things that has really impressed me and again been an honor to work with you, I feel like you're super generous with your time. And I think that's one of those attributes that it's hard to come by. It's one of those things where this generosity of sharing your time, your ideas, your talents, it's very much appreciated. So it's just an amazing thing. And again, we are lucky to have Jenny in Chicago, Illinois. I know my kids we're going through the school system. There's all these things that we do here in Chicago. If you have youth in Chicago, it's good that Jenny's here. We're in good hands with her. I did want to say, so think about, 17, 18 years you're talking about doing this kind of work. There's got to be so many stories. So now we're just like, okay, what's the focus going to be? I guess if you could share just one of the most rewarding parts of this work for you, working in these school communities with parents, teachers, and students, and administrators, you work across the board. Give us a story that you're like, this is kind of what keeps me going. Give us a little bit of that. Give us the wisdom, a little insight.
Gosh, I think it would have to be there are so many stories, as you can imagine, of amazing, amazing young people and amazing parents that I've known throughout the years and had the honor of working with. But I think it's really the most powerful moments for me in the work with the schools and the families is when the whole family puzzle comes together. When the student is involved and ambitious and really wanting to get out there and explore their future, they have parents that are involved in participating, they have a teacher or a mentor or a Gear Up staff person that's behind them. You kind of see the whole Gear Up puzzle come together, and that feels super, super rewarding. There have been so many students throughout the years that have impacted me greatly, and I'm so grateful for them as teachers, for those parents that have taught me so much about being a good person, but also about being a parent. Right. So I learn every day from the communities that we serve. I'm grateful for that opportunity to continue that learning throughout this work. But I think I'm most impacted when I see it kind of all come together and make a difference for that family.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that's one of the things that really drew me personally to the Gear Up program is this multifaceted approach that we're not just working with the students directly, but you got to work with the parents and the teachers. It's like this whole, community effect. Like, let's really support these young people through these different ways. So I think that's a really good way to say it.
Yeah, people have often asked me throughout the years, like, what do you think is the best way to reach parents? And like some of my mantras that everyone knows, I have a lot of Jennyisms.
Yep, mantra alert, here we go. Listen up, so turn up your computer now, listen if you're listening on your computer.
But one thing for me for sure is inviting everyone is inviting no one. And everyone wants to feel special, and that there was a special invitation given to them, whether it be a staff person, whether it be a parent, a student, a teacher. Mass group invitations to activities for me have never been successful. So I love to personalize, I love to individualize invitations, and I think that's really, really an important part of the work. And as far as parents, it's a difficult crowd to reach. Norma Lopez, one of Jeremy and I's mentors in life, taught us so much. But one of the things that I always learned from Norma is that the best way to get to parents is through their students. And you have to know their students. If you call a parent and you ask them to participate, if you can add the student's name, some interest that you know they have, an exchange you had with them in the hallway, you've now just gotten that parent's attention. And I think that is so important. When I get calls from the school, if they mention my daughter's name, my son's name, something they're interested in, a reason why I should participate, I'm 10 times more likely to come out for an event than if they just cold called me. So I think it's the extra effort to learn a little bit about that family before you make the call. One or two fun details will make a big difference in pulling parents in and building relationships that you can continue to grow. Yeah,
definitely. I'm glad you brought up Norma Lopez, as well. It's nice to bring her name up. Just an amazing worker for the Gear Up program and just, again, youth in Chicago as well. And one of my favorite parts about Norma was that she made you feel like you were one of the most important people in her day. And I mean, not to get all sappy, but I feel like that's a great trait that you also possess in just making people feel that they're really important and that your interaction with them is an important one. And I think that even speaks to what you're talking about, where it's this one-on-one, like, you're important to me, your input's important, we need you here. It's not just this mass, let's get a bunch of people to this thing. Let's really make sure we're targeting, making sure that you feel special in an authentic way. So I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like things are going well in this interview. It feels good. This is Going Places, by the way. You've tuned in. I just went through a yellow light, but it wasn't red, so we're good to go. We have Jenny Coulter-Zuluaga here, who's worked with Gear Up for over 700 years. Is that right? No. Like 17 years. That's pretty good. All right. Well, we're really honored to have you in the car. And I have to say, so far, this is the third episode, I tend to like to have people sing or rap or do something. I don't know if you've seen the series completely.
No, I have never seen it. So.
Yeah. So that's good. Maybe it's fresh. I'm not sure how your singing voice is, but
I can imagine you can guess based on my voice.
Yeah. So I'm not going to make you sing. I'm not going to make you sing.
Good.
But you know what?
Save the crowd.
Yeah, we'll save the crowd. But here's what I think we should do. We've got to get this before we do any ending here. I got to get this on camera. Jenny is known to bring the sizzle to Gear Up events. And one thing that I've heard her do multiple times when we're transitioning students from this way to that way is she'll say this little Gear Up chant. When I say gear, you say up. And I think we should probably get that on camera.
Okay, all right.
So we should do that today. I will be your student.
Okay.
Jenny will play the part of motivator in the scenario. We're going to do a little Gear Up chant. All right, so we're at this amazing Gear Up event. We're going to do a little attention getter with Jenny Coulter-Zuluaga. Honored to have her in the car today. Jenny, take it away.
You've truly oversold this.
I know, it's really nothing. I mean,
it's really 2 words, so
yeah.
A little oversold, but absolutely, it gives me such great pride in pulling young people together when we're outside a bus or when we're gathering in an auditorium, and we want to pump them up and get them excited about where they're going when they're going places. We just throw out the old classic. It could be a clap, I go, it could be a finger catch, but it has to end in, when I say gear, you say up, gear,
up,
gear,
up.
When I say gear, you say up, gear,
up,
gear,
up.
And that's all there is to it.
See that? Now listen, you take that advice. Whether you're watching this in Gear Up, wherever you are across the land, the idea is be creative with when you're working with your students, engage them that way too. I have a few more questions for you before we're at our destination. We'll be driving by one of our schools here. I don't think we drove by Clemente yet, but I want to. So when you get up in the morning, Jenny, give us that advice. How do you dig deep? Maybe especially on those days you're like, oh man, it's cold, it's rainy. You always bring it when you come to work. Every day, whether you're at the office or you're on site at the school, you always bring it. What advice can you give our fellow Gear Up tutors, advocates, coordinators, people in the schools? What advice can you give them to dig down deep and just bring their A game to work with the students in our schools?
Well, I can honestly say that in these 17 years, I've loved every single day of going to work. So I feel like I already have that great advantage in that way because I feel so excited about the work we do. It feels like my life privilege to be doing this work. I would do it for free. And it's so important to engage young people. They are the future, and that's very cliche, but they have so much to offer us and so much to teach us. And our Gear Up students teach me things every time I'm with them. Every time we go to a overnight camp or on a college visit or even in workshops, and I get a chance to engage with them, I learn so much, and that's a joy. So I feel joyful every day coming to work, but there are hard days, and we experience hardship in this work. And I think what I keep at the center for me in my motivation and my positivity are those faces. I always have, you're not supposed to have favorites, but I have a couple students and parents always in my mind, and I remember that I work for them. So if you hit challenges in bureaucracy, if you hit frustrating administrations, when you hit adults that don't want to give their full cooperation or are feeling negative and you are absorbing their negativity, all I do is pull up those images of those students that have been so successful throughout the years, that have been teachers to me of resilience, of how to stay positive themselves amongst challenging circumstances. And I just dial into them, remembering that they are my bosses. I work for them. I am honored to work for them, and I will stay committed and focused to do them proud, so that at any point in the day, as I'm moving through the day, whether I'm sitting in meetings, whether I'm facilitating workshops, whether I'm working on budget and paperwork, I keep them in my heart and know that if they were to see me on camera.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been tuning in to Going Places. Lots of good bits of wisdom being shared by none other than Jenny Coulter-Zuluaga. lot of sunshine here, so I'm squinting. I don't have my sunglasses on. This was the first Going Places with sunglasses. I probably should put mine on, but I'm going to get out of the sun here in a second. One of the things, here we go. All right. I should focus on my driving here too. One of the things that we definitely want to make sure that we leave with here from Jenny Zuluaga is just, you've given us some advice, and my thing is this. When we're working with youth, when we're working in our communities with parents and teachers, you talk about all these things that you do, you're honored to work with them. Give us one thing that's happened that you've been given by these students, these parents, these teachers that we work with. What do they give you? I know you mentioned a few things, but what do they give you, and how do they kind of inspire you to keep moving forward?
Well, I guess it may be perspective, because one of my other favorite mantras, because you all know I'm about mantras. I have like 17 I want to unload on you, but I'm going to just limit it to this one.
Write a book someday. Sure.
But something that I really feel is at my core, that I've learned from the students, is that every challenge offers a gift. And I really honestly believe that if you're open and willing to work through a challenging time, on the other side of that is the gift of growth. And I've seen students throughout the years struggle through different grade levels. They had a terrible 8th grade. They were in a bad relationship. Different times where in 6th and 7th grade they were just your little star student and just such a powerful force in their school. And then they go through 8th grade and freshman year, and you don't even recognize them. They're carrying such a weight of the world on their shoulders, and they just become these people sometimes that you don't even recognize. But then they kind of come through that, and by junior or senior year, or at different points in their lives, they've come back to you. And I just see that they, as they had to work through something, if they can find, if they have the support and thoughtful mentorship to work through some of the most challenging situations in their lives, on the other side of that is the most tremendous growth. And some of the biggest success stories I hold in my heart, those students were not straight A's for the whole time they were with us. It's absolutely the opposite. They struggled, they fell down, they went through very, very difficult times, but they got up, they got support, they got connected, and now they're just these amazing people that will again experience trials and tribulations of life, because that's what life is. But I know that they have all they need to work through that and continue to grow and become these amazing young people that are going to be changing the world for us. So I would say that's what they've taught me throughout the years, and I will continue to use that mantra. Yeah. Everybody knows that I say that. Every challenge offers a gift. When you're in it, you don't feel it. You're like, where's these gifts? When are they coming? Mm-hmm. But in the long scheme of life, it usually you can look back and say, yeah, out of that experience came tremendous growth.
That's great. We again, we're honored to have you on the show, episode 3. You didn't have to sing. I mean, that was fine, and you can if you want to now. But we did get the chant. We got the gear up chanted. So thanks for being part of this episode. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for episode 4. You don't know who's going to get in the car, or if anybody will ever get in the car again. I have no idea. Just take it a day at a time. That's my mantra. That's what I do. Thanks for watching Going Places.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on the episode. We appreciate it. Big Gear Up shout out, and yeah. Thanks again.